We're back with the Opie and Anthony Show. The ONA virus spreading across America. Live to win. I like it. I mean, we only heard, 10 seconds of it so far, but that's the latest from Paul Stanley, who's sitting in our studio right now. Live to Win off the CD, Live to Win, of course.
I just came in from my mancation.
I know, I'm sorry.
Mancation.
How pathetic.
He's sitting there drinking his coffee, whatever, in the green room and waiting, and we decided to go with Mancations instead of Paul Stanley, so now I'm embarrassed. If it was great radio, then you maybe would understand.
Who would want to go away with a bunch of guys and act like you're in high school?
Isn't that what you did for many years?
Yeah. I was fresh out of high school.
It's called your career.
Yeah, I was fresh out of high school.
They want to just make believe they're a rock star, too.
Talking about, because we were talking during the commercial break and stuff, and it sounds like there was a little mancationing going on early in the early days of Kiss.
Yeah, but a time and place for everything,
Yeah.
It's nothing more pathetic than seeing a bunch of old guys leaving their old wives behind. I don't know.
Going out to be guys again.
Yeah.
Oh,
well.
Can I have my junk back, please? Could you take it out of your purse and I could slap it back on and be a man for a week?
Jesus.
It's like kind of weird. Like, it's funny when rock stars look at like regular people. Like, what a bunch of nerds you are. Got to go away and play golf because like all these guys do. I mean, is like just basically kick chicks off. That's got to be the fun part of being in a band like that. Is like you just fight over. All right, well you bang that one, but I had that one yesterday, and I'll take this one now.
When you finally settle down, hopefully it's not somebody you want to get away from. Jesus.
That's sort of what I was getting at.
But again, this is for like regular guys. When you're Paul Stanley, when you've like looked through the filing cabinet and you've gone through 4,500 different things, you're like, all right, I'm in love with this person now. Most guys might have a few, like 5 or 6. Like that gal from college was nice. But when you're in Kiss and you're the front man from Kiss, man, you've gone through quite a few different options, I'm sure.
Yeah, there must have just been a frenzy.
It's been
back in the
It's been everything that people think, and then more.
And more.
I mean, it's more than I could have ever imagined.
You told us all the good stuff during the commercial, so now we got to make believe we didn't hear any of that stuff.
Yeah, he had some good stuff talking about Ace Frehley because I'm a big fan. I met the band one time. I got a photo with the band. It was Peter, Gene, Paul, and it was Tommy in Ace's makeup, who looks just like Ace on stage. And Ace, I'm like obsessed with meeting now because I have not. He's the one guy in the band I haven't met.
Ace is a great guy. He didn't make it to my show Saturday night, but he's. I give him a lot of credit. He's been fighting to stay clean and sober, and he's doing a great job of it and takes it real seriously. And he's one of those people who used to believe that he was a victim of everybody else's injustices. And once he got his head on straight, he realized, he said to me, how'd you ever put up with me before? And he's a great guy, and I like him more now than ever.
Do you think that, like him or Peter, like when they were out of the band, like a few years later, look back and went, I am not in Kiss anymore. Like, what an idiot I am. Like, why would you leave that? Or why would you do what caused you to get thrown out of that band?
I think, there were other, circumstances when you start mixing chemicals and everything else. And I don't think anybody's thinking straight, no matter how much, they might think so. I mean, here's guys who won the lottery twice. They came back into the band again and unfortunately found the same exit door.
That's got to be a hell of a moment of clarity, though, when your moment of clarity is, oh my God, wait, I was in Kiss. It's not just like, oh damn, I lost my car. Or something. It's like, wait, was I in Kiss? What happened?
Yeah, I lost that job at the garage.
Yeah.
It's the door closes behind you and it doesn't open again.
Oof.
Or you call people's bluff and everybody says, there's the door.
So when they came back, I think it was during an MTV Unplugged thing. It was a huge moment that Peter and Ace came back out and you guys played together. How long did it take, say, when you decided to tour again for like for the honeymoon to be over again? Like, oh, we still have some kind of problems here.
It's like, you ever have like an ex-girlfriend that you go, why did I break up with her? She was kind of, she was hot, good looking. And then you go back with her, and on the first date you go, now I remember.
See, that's the beauty of being me. I kill them.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the time to find out you don't want to be with your ex is not when you're in bed with them, But look, we had a great second run, made a whole lot of money, made a lot of people happy, and but unfortunately, some certain individuals have problems that just kept coming up, and by the end of the farewell tour, I kind of realized that I didn't want to say farewell to the fans. I wanted to say farewell to some of the guys in the band.
Right.
I didn't want to stop the band, so we're still around.
Well, doing solo stuff, do you find that you want to do stuff that you couldn't do in Kiss? Like, you got a solo album out. Are you saying to yourself, like, all right, well, this is something that they probably would have wanted to change directions in, but I would want to do, so you do your own thing, or is it just kind of like working with the other three guys anyway?
Well, when you do a solo album, it's different because when you do a band album, then I'm writing for the strengths and weaknesses of the guys who are playing. You know, when I do a solo album, I get to write what I want and then bring in the people who fit the song. So, but in terms of playing live, they're all my songs anyway. You know, it's kind of like all my unruly kids get to come out with me. So, you know, I mean, whether it's Love Gun or Detroit Rock City or I Want You or any of those songs, they're mine. So, you know, I get to play those. I get to play stuff from my first solo album, stuff from Live to Win. And it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's what surprised me. This is only your second solo album after all these years.
Yeah, 28 years later. I said if I wait another 28 years, the next one will be called Hope to Live. But seriously, folks, try the veal.
Yeah. I was surprised, though. You would think you would have, you know, maybe had a few more solo albums out there.
I mean, it's no secret. Some of the other guys in the band are always running off and doing other things. And I just had this feeling that if we all run off, there won't be a band to come back to. So I kind of became like I felt like the caretaker, kind of like keeping things afloat. And finally I reached a point where I just thought everything's pretty steady and solid at Kiss, so let me go off and do what I need to do.
And when the front man kind of goes off and does his own thing, it really conjures up, especially the rumor mill gets going like, oh boy, it's got to be over.
Nah, you know, I think that the stronger each member is, the stronger the band is.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to make myself happy, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to go out. I mean, it goes back to the reasons I started playing in the first place. It was just music. I mean, there's no bombs, there's no pyro. It's just me on stage with a great band. And to me, it's more like the days when I used to go to the Fillmore and see, you know, Humble Pie, Zeppelin, Derek and the Dominoes, you know, a bunch of guys with amplifiers and guitars just preaching rock and roll.
Do you look back on your stuff, like like everyone has like those moments you look back on your thing, like, oh, I wish this was better. Is there anything you look back on, like musically, like one song you'll hear and you go, ugh, why did we do that like that you wish you could fix, that you just look back on and cringe?
You know, I mean, there's some songs that I'm not crazy about. There's a couple of albums that I'm not crazy about. But when we were doing them, they were the best we could do at that time. So, you know, everything I did got me here. So the good, the bad, the ugly, you know.
Right.
That's why I'm sitting here.
Hey, Jimmy, can you tell your Kiss story?
Oh.
It's really embarrassing.
Paul is, and I'll be very honest. I'm a Sabbath freak, an Ozzy freak, and a Kiss freak. But Kiss was my first. Long before Sabbath was Kiss. I'd say Paul Stanley's probably my first idol as a kid growing up. And I finally got to meet the band. It was my friend Wendy is close with Gene, and it was the dumbest luck at the Garden. And I got a photo with the band. And it's really embarrassing when I look at him. And I was so, it was very childhood of me. I got to stand in front of Paul for the band, and there was like four of us, and the band's behind us. And Paul, what he does for the photo is he puts his arm on your shoulder, like from behind, because you have the heels on, so you're much taller. And I was such a douche. I took my head and I tilted it to the right, and it touched his arm, and I almost like held his, but it wasn't like a gay thing. I know it sounds like it is, because like
you go on mancations and
oh, I really should. I should go on to Rikers Island with my hands gripping my ankles after this story. But I felt like a little kid, and then I'm like, what are you doing? And I have the picture here. Of course, I love it signed. If you don't want to rip it up and throw it in my fat face. Oh, it's just horrid. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, you got to show him, because
he kind of downplayed what he's doing.
On almost like a kid would with his father on a line at a ride at an amusement park.
If this doesn't make you want to throw up, let's see if people on Pal Talk can see it.
They can't, because Pal Talk's off right now. We'll be on over there. Oh, that camera works? Okay.
I get it. The cool thing about Kiss is it brings everybody back to a special time in their lives. I mean, when you hear Kiss, when you hear certain songs, you remember who you were sleeping with, where you were eating food. You know, you remember like those moments in your life, and they sometimes meeting the band can reduce you to that childlike state.
And what a nice guy he is. What he should have said was, Jim, you're a douche. Well, but he just gave the nicest explanation.
And Jim, that's not the story I was thinking about. You're telling the easier of the two stories.
Oh, the cute one when you were a real little kid.
Your dreams with Helen and.
Oh, when I was all right. Well, again.
Okay, this is
creepy. You might want to leave after
I was born in '68, so I'd have to say this is '76. Probably I was like 8 years old, probably right around Destroyer time. I had an imaginary play friend who was named Helen. She was a middle-aged woman with a beehive hairdo. I don't know what happened to me. There's one neighbor out there with photographs.
Check.
Yeah, he says it so casual. Yes, he had a imaginary friend named Helen with a beehive hairdo.
But my fantasy when I was a kid, I know it sounds crazy, and it wasn't perverted. It was just an odd fantasy I would have, is that Kiss would show up to my apartment with their makeup and costumes and beat me up and hurt me and throw me down the stairs.